kidnapped and killed by a neighbor. Find out how the community is remembering Little Face Sweatlick tonight.
And we do continue to track a lot of rain farther off to the west. Unfortunately, this is what's moving our way for the end of the week and into the weekend. We'll take a closer look at if it's going to be a washout this weekend. Coming up, stay with us.
News at 5 starts now.
We are tracking breaking news just into the Wachfox Content Center. Crews battling a house fire on Woodland Drive in Columbia. The pictures you're looking at are from the department's Twitter account. Now, Beltline Boulevard is closed in both directions near that scene. The department says there is damage throughout that home. Fortunately, no injuries have been reported. Also, just into the Content Center, Richland County deputies looking for a woman they say assaulted a Walmart employee over a Visa card that wasn't hers. Authorities say the woman called the Walmart on Killian Road asking if they found the card. A worker then told her that she needed proper ID to get it back. Well, investigators say the woman showed up minutes later, walked behind the counter, and as you can see, attacked that employee. If you recognize the woman or know anything about it, you can call the Richland County Sheriff's Department. Also breaking at this hour, an employee at Lakewood High School charged with sexual battery with a 17-year-old student, Joyce Brown, arrested today. Investigators say the incident happened in 2019. They started looking into the issue after getting an anonymous tip. Now, the victim, we're told, is no longer a student at the school. Brown is free on $5,000 bail tonight. And happening tonight, a community honoring the life of a 6-year-old Casey girl who was kidnapped and killed by a neighbor. We are talking about Little Face Sweatlick, who died in February. Our Brittany Breeding is live at Felton Benton Park, where family and friends are keeping Faye's memory alive tonight. Brittany, what do they have planned here?
Brian, in about 2 hours, this bench and tree will be dedicated in Faye's honor here at Felton C. Benton Park. You can see somebody just placed a pink unicorn up on the bench, just as another way to honor Faye. Now, this looks like it's going to be a pretty short program tonight. There's going to be opening remarks, a prayer, a couple songs, dedication remarks, and the mayor is going to read a special proclamation for Faye. Now, this all came together thanks to support of the generous community. They donated their time and money to make this happen. And although there aren't many people here right now, we're expecting a huge turnout here at 7 o'clock.
It's really easy to make something like this make you bitter, make you hard. But this is a reminder that it's always best to be kind and to stay soft.
Family, community members, and the Springdale Police Department will be gathering at Felton C. Benton Park. There will be a tree and a bench placed in the park.
The benches were originally created just for, to honor Faye.
But then Faye's family had another idea, turning the benches into buddy benches.
If you are feeling particularly lonely, or if you don't have any friends that day at the park, you can sit at the buddy bench, and it's a way to make friends.
They feel this is the best way to honor Faye's life, and they hope it will help others take on Faye's outgoing, loving personality.
She would be really, really happy with the buddy benches, and that it's just a continuance in the lesson to be everybody's friend.
Now, once again, this ceremony starts at 7 p.m. Everyone's welcome, and the family tells me they're asking everybody to wear bright colors because Faye's bright personality loved bright colors. And everybody in attendance will get one of these bracelets that says Faye Sweatlick, forever in our hearts. Reporting in Springdale, Brittany Breeding, Wachfox News.
Thank you so much for that, Brittany, and a beautiful evening out there for that tonight. Right now, we are nice and quiet in our area. All the rain, the cloud cover that's farther off to our west, you can see. It is now tropical depression beta still spinning down here, bringing some heavy rain to the same parts of Texas and the Gulf Coast. We're going to continue to watch as that moves our direction, but we're still dry tonight, dry tomorrow, even dry through most of Thursday. It's as we get into Friday, the rain shows up. Even with all that sunshine today, had a tough time warming up. First day of fall and really feeling like at a high of 73 today in Columbia after a lot of us started off in the 40s this morning. We actually haven't had a first day of fall this cold since 1995, so this is not the norm for us here in Columbia. By this 6 o'clock this evening, 71 degrees. We're down to around 61 and cool again for you by 10 o'clock. Sunset tonight around 7:20. Now don't get used to this cool weather. We're warming up as we head into tomorrow. 79 on Thursday and back up into the mid 80s as we head into the weekend, which is actually closer to what's normal for this time of the year. Let me switch over to traffic, show you what's going on around the area. A couple different problems. This one not really slowing things down for us. This is in the westbound direction on I-20 at mile marker 67. Things are moving along smoothly. Past that, you can see the cop just about to leave the scene, so some good news there. Switch over to the maps real quick. Just look around a few areas. We are doing pretty well through Malfunction Junction today. Where we are slower, going to be along Two Notch Road and then also along Clemson Road. A couple accidents as we work our way north on Summit Parkway. And then one other big problem spot, that's eastbound on I-20 in Kershaw County as you get closer to Elgin and then closer to Camden, where we had some earlier accidents that are in the process of clearing up.
Well, DHEC says there was a jump in coronavirus cases today here in South Carolina. State health officials announcing more than 700 new confirmed cases. 739 is the total today. That's the most so far this week. Sadly, 30 more people have also died from the illness recently. DHEC says more than 5,000 tests were conducted in this latest round. 14% of them were positive. And the clock is ticking. Tuesday, November 3rd, Election Day. It's just 6 weeks away right now, and there are a lot of questions and uncertainty about voting during this pandemic. That's why we sent our Suji Nam to find out how to make sure your vote is counted on time. She is live in the studio right now. And Suji, a lot of things people need to know. What'd you find out?
Brian, that's right. Well, there are a lot of dates that you should remember, especially if you're looking to vote by mail. Officials have one major piece of advice. Do not wait to send your ballots in. Fill them out immediately and drop them in the mail as soon as you can.
Election Day is just 6 weeks away, and the State Election Commission is taking extra measures to protect your vote.
County election offices are opening many more extension offices this year, trying to make absentee in person as viable as possible, spread people out due to COVID.
Here are some important deadlines. Sunday, October 4th, the last day to register to vote. South Carolina has 3 options: absentee voting in person, absentee by mail, and voting at the polls on November 3rd. In-person absentee begins on October 5th and will stay open until 5 p.m. on November 2nd. The deadline to apply for absentee by mail is October 30th, but officials say they should get them in by October 24th. Your ballots must be in the voter registration office by 7 p.m. on Election Day.
If you're getting your ballot in early October, go ahead and vote it, mail it back, and that way you're not worried about missing any deadlines.
And just recently, a federal judge waived the need for witness signatures on absentee voting. But election officials say there's already an appeal, so things are still up in the air.
If you don't have a problem getting the witness signature, go ahead and get it. If you have an issue with the witness signature, you're self-isolating, that sort of thing, hold on for a few days or wait, check scvotes.gov on direction on that, and then go from there.
And Whitmire tells me he's been seeing a record-setting number of absentee ballots for this election. Already 425,000 absentee ballots have been requested. In 2016, there were a total of 140,000 absentee by mail ballots in South Carolina. Many counties will be pushing out mail ballots later this week. And coming up at 10, I'll give you an insider look into how Richland is working to avoid election chaos. Brian?
Thank you, Suji. Well, AARP South Carolina also ramping up safety measures for voters 50 years and older. The group is reminding people to continue social distancing. And if you're going to the county election office or to the polls, make sure you sanitize your hands after you mark your ballots. And just this week, we did just hear about that federal judge here in South Carolina that waived the witness signature requirement on absentee ballots. So officials encourage you to vote absentee if you can. And some stunning statistics about sex trafficking here in America. 2019 numbers show South Carolina ranked 20th in the number of active criminal human traffic cases in the federal courts. Last year, the state had 9 active cases. Reports from the Human Trafficking Institute say 5 people were convicted of human trafficking here in South Carolina. According to the data, South Carolina was the first in the nation by requiring all 5 of those convicted of sex trafficking to pay restitution to victims. Now, for continuing coverage on this human trafficking issue here in South Carolina, we have coverage for you on our website, wach.com. Shifting our attention now to football. Game day at Williams-Brice Stadium. Well, there's about to be one just a few days from now. First one of the year, but the atmosphere is going to be a little different than what Gamecock faithful have been used to over the years. We're in a pandemic after all. Sports Director Mitch Brown over in the studio with the latest on a game day tradition that just isn't going to be happening this year.
Well, Brian, that Gamecock walk, where the players and coaches make their walk from the football facility into the stadium, won't be happening this Saturday or any game day Saturday this season for that matter. That among the many changes coming to Williams-Brice Stadium this season. Now, COVID-19 has changed some things, but not everything. The Gamecocks spoke with us, the media, today about finally getting to game week. 16th ranked Tennessee is coming to town, and the Gamecocks will have their hands full. What they do hope changes is their success at home, and that fortune can change with the win against a ranked opponent right out the gates. Take a listen to what head bench boss Will Muschamp had to say about being back on home turf in just 4 days.
Well, there's nothing like a Saturday night at Williams-Brice. It will be different, but just to be quite candid, I mean, there were some days I didn't think we were going to get to this point. I think, and I think we would all agree with that. We were concerned whether this was going to happen or not. And I applaud, Commissioner Sankey and the leadership of our league, the leadership of our university, President Caslin, Coach Tanner, to push this forward.
And of course, the Gamecocks said a lot more. We'll hear from them coming up in sports later on in this show. For now, I'm Mitch Brown in studio, Wachfox Sports.
Well, 1 year ago today, a Midlands man involved in a life-altering crash. We have been tracking Everett Scott's story ever since. Coming up a little later, we'll show you how his family is honoring his progress.